Hello and welcome to part 3 of our uplifting storytelling queue. We're going to be mixing and mastering today, and remember I've built this using the template, so I've already got reverbs and stems ready to go. If you want to know how to make that, there's a video about how to do it over there, and like and subscribe is always appreciated. What we're going to do is go through these different tracks before doing the stems and reverbs and listen to the whole thing. At the end of last week, I did say I thought the piano was standing out a bit, and yes, I think it still does. So we need to blend all these sounds together now. I'm going to go through from top to bottom and we're going to color code everything and group it. So if there are multiple strings or horns, for example, as I know I've got, I'm going to put them next to each other as a group because that's how I'm going to break them down into stems. So let me go through. There's a bit of renaming to do, a bit of color coding, and then I'll be back. Okay, there we go. I've put the short strings and the long strings into separate stems as they're going to be, and other things I have basically kept on their own. So we've got the bass, horns, harp, synth. The two damages I'm going to combine together. Next, I'm going to EQ each sound so it sounds like I want it. I'm probably just going to loop this later section because it's got all the sounds going on, and just go through and shape things as I see fit. Right, so I've applied some EQ to the tracks that I wanted to. What I noticed was the stereo out was getting close to clipping at 0, so all the faders have come down. Remember, if you're dropping the faders down, check that you haven't got volume automation on a track because that will reset the fader. So worth just playing it through once if you're changing these master levels. There was one that I missed actually, so it can happen to the best of us. Okay, next I'm going to open up these hidden tracks of the template and I'm going to rename them. So we'll have piano reverb and we'll have piano stem. I'm just going to match it from top to bottom as the groups of colours go. So I'm going to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different reverbs and stems. See you when I've done the labelling. Great, so you can see we've got all the stems and reverbs renamed. Next, I need to route everything to the correct place because instead of going to stereo out, we're now going to go to the correct stem and also add a send to the correct reverb. So we're going to go to the piano reverb and we're going to go to the piano stem. Once I've done all those, I'll be back. Great, now everything's going to the correct place. Remember, if I press play now, we won't hear anything until I put the stems into input monitoring mode. But first thing I'm going to do is add any reverb and do that on each of these separate reverb channels by editing the amount of send that goes to them. So for example, if I want extra reverb on the piano, I can adjust it here. If I don't like the particular reverb, I can change it on its own reverb channel. Okay, here goes another job. Okay, so I'm happy with the reverb amounts and choices. I did change some of the default settings to, for example, the piano hero beauty setting. The horns, for example, are on horn solo mellow setting, just so that they're all sitting in the same space but have been slightly shaped to sound really nice. Okay, we are ready for creating the stems, so we take them out of input monitoring, put them into record and hit record button. Watch the magic happen. See when that's finished. Okay, stems created, get out of record mode. We are nearly there. All I need to do now is put a fade at the end. Remember, we always make sure all the levels have dropped to 0 before we stop the recording. What I'm going to do is show the stereo output track, add a MIDI region where I think the ending roughly is. A bit later. What we will do is go in and we will add a automated fade to make sure everything comes out nicely. Probably a bit longer than that. Yeah, so we're going to drop down. So remember, we're starting at 0 for the stereo out. We're going down. We're going to turn it into an automated curve because that just sounds a bit more natural. Just check that. So now I've got my end point for my recording, so I can zoom back out, put the cycle range on, and I know it's going to be from here. And all I need to do now is work out just before the start of the sound. And that's nearly ready to go. All I'm going to do now is apply the Logic Mastering Assistant to see what that comes up with. Back in a sec. And there we go, Logic Mastering Assistant has done its thing. I think the clean sound worked nicest on this, and I 70% agree with the changes it's made. As you can see, it's sort of scooped out the mids because that's where a lot of our strings and horns are coming into the mix. I'm going to play it for you as a bit of an outro. I hope you found that fun. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget, like and subscribe. See you next time.